Princess Leonor didn't just reject a billionaire, she rejected the entire idea that her future can be bought. And honestly, the detail that caught my attention wasn't even the money. It was the look on her face during that private yacht conversation everyone in Madrid keeps whispering about this week. According to people close to the royal circle, the businessman reportedly joked that every royal family eventually needs someone with real money behind them. And Leonor's answer was cold enough to freeze the entire room. I don't need your money. That sentence is exploding online right now because people are realizing something uncomfortable about the future Queen of Spain. She may actually mean it. And I think that scares people more than they admit. Because let's be honest, in 2026, influence usually wins. Billionaires shape politics. Tech founders shape culture. Even royal families across Europe are adapting to wealthy elites and media power. You look at figures like Mr. Beast influencing global attention faster than traditional institutions, or the carefully polished image machine around Catherine, Princess of Wales and Prince William, and you realize modern royalty survives through perception. But Leonor, she's playing a completely different game. And that's why this story matters more than people think. At first glance, this sounds like another rich man meets princess headline. The internet loves those stories. But when I started looking deeper into it, I realized this is actually about power. About control. About what kind of Queen Leonor wants to become. And if you're new to Leonor's story, subscribe, I post every day. Because I genuinely think we're watching the construction of a very different kind of monarchy in real time. Now here's what fascinates me. Most royal scandals involve excess, luxury, secret relationships, hidden privileges. But Leonor's image lately has been the exact opposite. Military training, discipline, distance from celebrity culture, minimal public drama, and whether you like monarchies or not, you have to admit the strategy is smart. Spain's royal family learned the hard way what happens when the public thinks royals are too close to wealth and privilege. The scars from the corruption controversies years ago never fully disappeared. The palace knows that. Leonor definitely knows that. So when this billionaire, reportedly tied to luxury real estate and elite investment circles, allegedly tried to impress her with access, connections, and extravagant promises, rejecting him wasn't just personal. It was political. And this is where my hot take comes in. I don't think Leonor rejected the man because of the money. I think she rejected what the money represented. Dependency, influence, a future where people would constantly ask, who's really controlling the queen? That question destroys monarchies faster than scandals do. Because once the public thinks a royal can be influenced by private wealth, the mystique disappears. Suddenly they're not symbols anymore. They're investments. And Leonor seems deeply aware of that trap. What's interesting is how different this feels compared to older generations of royals. Years ago, royal families almost depended on billionaire networks to maintain relevance and influence. Today, the internet changed the rules. Attention is currency now. Public trust is currency now. Narrative is currency now. That's why Leonor's military image matters so much. Think about it carefully. Every public appearance lately has been designed around service, structure, and sacrifice. The uniforms, the training, the serious facial expressions, even the lack of obvious romance stories feels intentional. And honestly, I think the palace is trying to build her into something stronger than a celebrity royal. They want her to look untouchable. But here's the hidden cost nobody talks about. What happens when a young woman spends years becoming a symbol instead of a person? That's the part one keep thinking about. Because behind all the headlines, Leonor is still a young woman in her 20s being watched every second. Every friendship becomes gossip. Every interaction becomes political analysis. Every smile becomes a headline. Imagine trying to date normally under those conditions. You can't. And I think this billionaire situation exposed something important. Leonor may already understand that love, friendship, and power can never fully separate in her world. That realization changes people. You start questioning motives. You start protecting yourself emotionally. You stop trusting attention. And ironically, the more powerful someone becomes, the lonelier they often get. That's why I don't see this story as some glamorous, princess rejects rich guy, fairy tale. I actually think it's sad. Not tragic, but revealing. Because most people dream about having unlimited options. But Leonor's position may have created the opposite problem, never knowing which option is real. And let's talk about timing for a second, because this part feels important. Why is this specific story suddenly surfacing now? That's the question I always ask when royal stories explode online. Why now? The Spanish monarchy has been aggressively reshaping its image for younger audiences recently. There's a huge effort to portray Leonor as modern, disciplined, and independent. This story feeds directly into that narrative. A young future queen rejecting billionaire influence. That's almost perfect PR in today's climate. Especially during a time when people are increasingly suspicious of billionaire power worldwide. So yes, I believe the core event probably happened. But I also think parts of this story are being amplified because they reinforce a larger image strategy. And honestly, that doesn't automatically make it fake. Public figures always communicate through symbolism. The British royals do it. Hollywood does it. Political leaders do it. Even creators like Mr. Beast carefully shape perception every week online. The difference is that Leonor's strategy feels unusually controlled. You rarely see emotional chaos around her. Rarely impulsive moments. Rarely leaks that damage her image. That level of discipline at her age is either incredibly impressive or incredibly isolating. Maybe both. And I know some viewers will say, come on, she's privileged beyond belief. Why feel sorry for her? Fair point. But privilege doesn't erase pressure. In fact, sometimes it multiplies it. Because the higher your position, the more your mistakes become public property. And here's something I personally think people underestimate about Leonor. She grew up watching what public humiliation did to royal reputations across Europe. She saw how quickly admiration turns into mockery online. She understands the internet age better than older royals ever could. That means every decision she makes now is probably filtered through one terrifying question. How will this look in 10 years? That changes how people love, how they trust, how they speak, how they move. So when people reduce this entire situation to Princess Rejects Billionaire, they're missing the deeper story completely. The real story is that Leonor appears determined to build an identity no one can purchase, manipulate, or overshadow. And whether you admire that or not, it's rare. Especially in 2026. Because most public figures today are desperately trying to merge with wealth, attention, and influence. Leonor seems to be moving in the opposite direction. Almost like she's trying to become recession-proof as a symbol. And weirdly enough, that may actually work. Look at the reaction online. A lot of young people who normally don't care about monarchy suddenly started paying attention because this felt different. Not flashy, not scandalous, just firm. I don't need your money. Simple sentence. Massive message. It tells supporters she can't be bought. It tells critics she's aware of perception. And it tells powerful people around her that access alone won't impress her. That's not just confidence. That's positioning. And here's my final thought. I think the future of modern royalty won't belong to the loudest royal. Or the most glamorous. Or even the most popular. It'll belong to the one who feels hardest to control. That's why Leonor matters right now. Not because she rejected a billionaire. But because of what that rejection symbolizes in an era where almost everyone seems available for influence. And maybe that's the real reason this story spread so fast. People are hungry for figures who appear emotionally disciplined in a world that feels completely transactional. But what do you think? Was Leonor protecting herself, protecting the monarchy, or was this entire moment carefully designed to strengthen her future image as Queen of Spain? Honestly, I think it might be all three. And that's exactly why people can't stop talking about her.